Blakewell.com specializes in the production of OEM specification interior parts for your Porsche, your classic Porsche. Today we're going to show you how to install the complete interior carpet set for all 911 models from 1974 all the way up there to 1989. This is a carpet set which for this particular model has 24 pieces. This is a 911 convertible 1984. But of course, several variations between carpet sets in this particular era exists. So while this instruction is suitable for all the years, you have to make some allowances for certain variations. Now the carpet set is an OEM specification carpet set made in Slivernit, which is a very flexible material. And that flexible material allows you to follow the contours of the floor pan of your 911 to perfection. To install the carpet set, you should count about 6 to 8 hours of work. You can do this alone, so you don't need a partner to install, but it is practical when you're two people. The tools you need are some glue. For this particular model, we'll need 3 spray cans. You'll need some screwdrivers, some spanners, a Stanley type knife, some masking tape, a hairdryer or a paint stripper, and scissors and a marking pen. With those pieces, with those tools, you should be able to install this in about a day. Now, as you can see on this car, we've taken a bit of a head start. The entire carpet set has already been taken out. But that prompts me to bring you your first important tip. Making sure you install this set correctly requires you to take the carpet set out very deliberately. So make sure that you observe the way each piece is positioned as you take it out of the car. Carefully note the relative position of one part to the other. The other important tip is that don't throw away your old carpet set before you've installed your new one to full satisfaction. Because you can read your old pieces, if you're not sure how a particular piece was fitted, you can read the old piece by seeing the gluing lines, by seeing where it was folded, to see where it was stretched. And that helps you to install this set to perfection. Okay, so we're now ready to start. We've just vacuumed the car to make sure it's really clean. And now we're getting ready to install the first piece. Robin's in the car and he's going to take you through the sequence of installing the different pieces all the way to the complete set. So as you can see, he's first going to apply spray glue on the rear bulge piece, the rear center bulkhead piece. He applies it on double coated, it's contact glue after all. And after he sprays it, he leaves it to dry. You need to make sure that the piece gets a little bit tacky. Because if you put it on too wet, it's not going to go down well. You observe that he's first going to position the piece around the hinge point for the rear seat backs, and then he's going to slide it center down to the middle. He's going to make sure that the center is first positioned well, and then he folds it open, stretches it open. He uses the flexible properties of the Slivernit material to follow all of the curves to perfection. There's no harm in taking it off if you feel that it's not positioned perfectly. With the right glue, you can take it off and put it back on as many times as you want. This is SBR glue. It's a glue based on synthetic rubber, and that has a property that allows you to tack and pull off and reposition as many times as you want. Okay, so we're now to the lower rear quarter cover that we're going, or carpet we're going to install, and as you can see, Robin is first taking out the different bolts, so the seat bolt connection point, both front and rear, as well as the bolt that keeps the rear seat back in position. Now, one of the first things you want to do is when you install this piece is to make sure you've correctly positioned it without any glue on it. So first you're going to look at what lines you want to follow. Robin, can you show where you are going to make the cut later on? Exactly, at that point. Now what you don't want to do is make the cut too deep, but you do want to make a little cut. Point being that you want to make enough of a cut so that you have no folds in the carpet piece, but not too much of a cut, because when you cut too much, of course, your floor pan might be visible afterwards. Okay, so once the piece has been positioned, you apply glue as usual, double-sided. There's no need to apply glue on the complete piece. You just want to make sure that you have got adequate coverage as you apply the glue. You allow it to dry a little bit, and then you carefully slide it in position. So look at Robin's hand movements. He's taking the center section first and then is moving it down and out, gradually pressing the folds out. Once that's positioned, you can take care of the other side, applying some of the SPR glue on the two sides. And then he's going to tension the piece somewhat to make sure that there's no folds. Okay, we're now moving on to the rear bulkhead piece. As you can see, Robin is using again the mounting point for the rear seat backs as a reference, as a starting point for installing the piece. You can tell that the curves are quite extreme on this one, so you do want to make sure to follow a particular sequence of gluing it down. And the lines is one that you want to take as a reference, and with the line you can then spray on the glue. To avoid any overspray, you can use a little cardboard piece or some masking tape just to make sure that you have a sharp gluing line. Now he's going to work from the middle out. So the first thing he's going to do is glue in the two pieces, so the part of the body and the carpet piece. And only in the second stage he's then going to glue the sides, so the outer bits. So as you can see, the first tacking point, if you wish, is the rounded edge on the upper end. Once the rounded edge is nicely positioned, you can apply pressure towards the outside and then pressure down to try and follow the contours and the curves of the areas where the seat backs or where the seats are normally positioned. Now you will notice that on the bottom you get all these folds. Now don't worry about the folds, we can cut those away later. The key point here is that around the bulge in the middle you want to have no folds. Once you're happy with one side, you can move to the other side. So the main points are the inner lines on the center bulge and the outsides. Now once you've done these basic pieces in the rear, it's time to move to the front. Robin's now going to show you how you start on the A-post. For this particular model, the 84 model, the A-post is in fact in two different pieces. There's a rear piece and there's a cover which goes on separately. Note that for older models, 74 up to 83 models, the A-post is a single integrated carpet piece. And then you just press into position. You press fit the carpet piece. You'll notice that around the point where the A-post goes over into the sill, Robin makes a little cut to make sure it follows the contours. Now you want to pay attention here to the fact that you have a sill cover piece which comes on later, which comes a bit more towards the end, and the sill cover piece will go over this A-post piece. So again, you want to make sure that it goes enough, that it's positioned enough backward to cover all of the sill cover. Okay, once the base of the A-post has been positioned, it's time to move to the sill cover. The sill piece will be put in, but before you do that, as you see, Robin is folding the lower rear quarter panel underneath the B-post. Also note that more or less where the sill cover piece stops, you have also the seatbelt attachment. So again, you position the piece correctly. Obviously, an important reference point is the the seat slide or seat guide, or the seat bracket I think is the correct word. Make sure towards the front, I'm just going to show that to make sure you see that, towards the front the line, the edge binding more or less falls flush with the front post of the door, and as you see Robin is now marking the point where the seat belt goes in. So again, a two-step approach. Apply slight tension, make sure you position it correctly, and then you pressurize it on top. Okay, now for the silk carpet piece, we're going to be gluing on the front flap to the A-post. For this we're first going to measure up the tape. So you see that Robin cuts it all the way to the point where it meets the dashboard, the lower piece of the dashboard, or more precisely the knee protectors. He's now applying some glue. As you notice, this is a different type of glue. This is a polyurethane glue, but a neoprene based glue, contact glue would also work. The reason we're using this glue rather than the other type is because this is a small surface that we can glue on. We want a strong bond, and that for those characteristics this glue simply works better. So he's applying a double-sided, not only on the flap and on the A-post side, but also in the area or in the weather strip gutter, because this flap will glue onto the side and then into the gutter. Now he's normally this glue takes 1 or 2 minutes to become tacky, but just for the sake of moving forward, Robin is already attaching it so that you can see how this is done. Want to make sure you have a nice straight line, no folds, and once you have that you can use your fingers, as you see here, to press the rest of the tape or the flap into the weather strip gutter. Okay, Robin is now going to show you how the A-post panel is recovered. So first you simply take off the old carpet. So far so good. It can be that the material, the old carpet material, strongly bonds with the panel. In that case you may want to use a heat gun or a hair dryer to loosen the bond of the glue, but it's usually not necessary. Once it's off, you take the piece and you position it. Now note that there are two pieces left and right. They're almost symmetrically cut. So you position the piece in such a way that you have excess material of 1 or 2 inches maximum on each side. There's no harm in marking the piece if you're not sure, but Robin of course is very experienced in this area, so he goes on feel. He's applying the glue as usual, the two sides, and he applies the piece across. Now he's not going to go too hard on the bond because he wants to make sure that he's got everything positioned from the middle, and then slides his hand across to follow the curves of the panel. Don't worry too much about the sound deadening material that's inside the cover. You can simply fold it up a little bit to make place for gluing the carpet around the edge. It can be very easily glued back later.